Detroit rapper Eminem cancels his sold-out European tour to check himself into rehab after admitting an addiction to sleep medication. We'll have more on this story as it develops.
It's been real. I love you, but I just can't deal with the stress this game is giving me.
In the world of hip-hop, legends are forged in the studio behind closed doors, where tracks are laid down and careers are built. But what happens when an album, an entire chapter of an artist's career, never sees the light of day? This is the story of the unreleased album, King Mathers, an album that was supposed to be a farewell to the audience of one of the best rappers in history, Eminem.
PlayStation 2 will be the biggest thing to come along.
The early 2000s were a transformative time marked by the rapid rise of the internet, the advent of social media, and significant cultural shifts. The world was transitioning from the analog to the digital era, and pop culture was dominated by the emergence of reality TV, the growth of hip-hop as a global phenomenon, and the impact of 9/11 on global consciousness. It was a period of both uncertainty and innovation, where the lines between underground and mainstream began to blur. In the mid-2000s, Eminem was at the height of his career. Albums like the Marshall Mathers LP and The Eminem Show had solidified his status as a rap icon. However, following the release of Encore in 2004, the world waited for what would come next. In 2005, Eminem made headlines when he abruptly canceled his European tour, citing exhaustion. However, it soon became clear that the real reason was his struggle with addiction, a battle that would deeply impact both his personal life and his music. Just a year later, in 2006, tragedy struck when Eminem's best friend and fellow D12 member, Proof, was tragically killed. The loss sent Eminem into a deep depression, intensifying his struggles with addiction and pushing him further into isolation. Between 2005 and 2007, rumors began to swirl about a new project, an album that would encapsulate the darker, more reflective side of Marshall Mathers. It is believed that in addition to Marshall's personal reflections, the album was intended to include commentary on the state of rap and the music industry at the time.
People are no longer buying CDs so that we can get paid for our fucking work. They are just continuing to get songs for free. Teenagers, older folks, and little fucking brats alike. See, what they do is they buy computers, strictly pick songs that they like, and burn them onto CDs or put them on iPods, causing major decrease in SoundScan, putting music retail in a tremendous slump, causing artists such as myself to make no money for record sales and be forced to tour, causing more stress, arguments with my wife, not being able to see my kids, drink more, take more pills, punch more people in the face, hate the world, and end up in rehab. This has been a public service announcement and an excused event by Marshall Mathers. Not that I wouldn't have done the same thing if I could get music for free when I was a kid, but now that I rap for a living, buy my goddamn CDs! Thanks.
Despite no official confirmation from Eminem or his label, the rumors persisted. Was King Mathers a real project? Was it meant to be Eminem's swan song? A final bow before disappearing from the music scene for good? Fans scoured the internet for clues, finding pieces of unreleased tracks, speculating about collaborations and debating the album's intended message. Over the years, a few tracks leaked online that fans believed were originally meant for King Mathers. Songs like Syllables, where Eminem critiques the state of hip-hop.
It is not about lyrics anymore. It's about a hot beat and a catchy hook.
Or Difficult, an emotional tribute to his friend Proof.
They ask me am I okay, they ask me if I'm happy, are they asking me that because of the shit that's been thrown?
Since we don't know which tracks were truly intended for the album, we can only speculate. Among the many theories, this particular track list is the most frequently mentioned, but it's important to remember that these are just assumptions. Amidst the speculation, there was one rumor that stood out above the rest, that King Mathers was meant to be Eminem's final album. At the time, Eminem was facing numerous personal tragedies, and retreating from the spotlight might have seemed like the only option. In 2007, Eminem's battle with addiction reached a terrifying climax when he nearly died from an overdose. The experience was a wake-up call that forced him to confront the reality of his situation. It was in this moment of near-death clarity that Eminem realized he needed to change his life. This brush with death not only sparked his recovery, but also reignited his passion for music, leading him back to the studio and ultimately resulting in the release of Relapse in 2009. However, as his passion for music returned, the King Mathers project was abandoned, left behind, along with the darkest chapters of his life.